Hey YouTube, not so Slim Jim, coming to you another video talking about Biden, this guy right here, and his bumbling bunch of buffoons and their new backdoor approach to gun control. Now first off, let's talk about exactly what they're using for an excuse to be able to do this most recent ban on firearms and munitions from Russia. So this guy right here, Sergei Skripal, was a double agent who is a Russian citizen working in the Russian government, but working for the English government and passing secrets and information from Russia to England with MI6. Now, he was arrested in 2004 for being a spy, and then he was eventually tried in Russia and sentenced to 13 years in prison. Now, in 2010, America set up a little spy swap. You know, we give you some of them, they give some of us, whatever goes on. And they gave us a bunch of their spies, we gave them a couple of their spies, and he ended up going to England, where he ended up living in Salisbury because, of course, he was giving information to the English, so they took care of him. Well, a couple years ago, his daughter came in from Moscow and having a visit, and him and his daughter got extremely ill. While in the hospital, they found out that they had been poisoned with an extremely rare poison that was originally produced in Russia. So, of course, Russians are going to use a Russian-made poison that can be directly linked to Russia to poison a Russian former spy. Not about you. If I was a Russian and I had access to other poisons, really basic poisons or things of that nature, I wouldn't use one that pointed directly back to my country and put a big red flag going, hey, look at us, we did it. But I guess that's what happened. So, of course, the English government blamed Russia for it. Russia said, we didn't do it. Why would we use our own stuff? That's stupid. And they never proved who did it. Now, him and his daughter didn't die. They were in the hospital for about 6 weeks. They got real sick. Sucks that it happened. But that's the reason why they're using an excuse for sanctions. Now, it is those two and another man back in 2016 who had radioactive particles put into his tea. He got real sick. He actually did die. And believe it or not, we have had sanctions with Russia since then, where the United States government and governmental agencies have not been able to purchase firearms or ammunition of any sort from the government since 2016. So this isn't anything new. We've actually had this going on for quite a while now. Because if you look at the sanctions we have underneath the UN, if a country is caught using biological weapons outside, well, you're not supposed to use them at all, but outside of what they're supposed to, which is not, we can put sanctions on them. So the United States government put sanctions saying, we're not going to buy your weapons, we're not going to buy your ammo, we're not going to do any of that until you guys do whatever. Sanctions are lifted, and of course, Russia is as pig-headed as we are here in America. Now, we also have the right in the commercial capacity to be able to restrict the importation of firearms. It does not say munitions, it just says firearms. So Biden and, of course, his bumbling bunch of dickheads decided, well, we're going to reinterpret what the UN says, and we're just going to kind of read around it and look at it how we think it says and decide that, you know what, we're gonna add munitions onto it as well. So he decided to take what it says for the government and apply it for commercial as well. Even though it doesn't say that, he just thinks it says that because it's his truth. That's what matters, I guess. So now we are banning all firearms and ammunitions made in Russia. And that includes, like I said, ones even if it's sold in another country, if it's manufactured in Russia, it's an absolute no-go. Now we do have other importation restrictions too. Right now we're having, we're restricting the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. I guess we're not doing anything with any of the companies that work for the pipeline because for some reason the rest of the world can't help them. And we're no longer granting first party bonds and governmental loans to Russia. So we're so serious about restricting Russia and hurting them economically that the only thing we're doing is taking guns and ammo away from Americans made in Russia, not working with just one pipeline, and we're not issuing first-party funds. Now we're doing second-party funds. We can do that still, and we're not giving governmental loans. So basically, they can't trade in our market unless it's the second party. Then they can trade on our market. And we're not giving the loans to their government. That's the extent of it. Now, the president has come out and said that, along with many of his cronies, that we're going to hurt them. We're going to cripple them because of what they did. But yet he's not doing anything to actually financially hurt the oligarchs that he says they're going after, like the one his son worked for, or anything else. All he's really trying to do is restrict the amount of ammunition and firearms that come into America. Now, a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, Steelcase is trash. I can deal without it. The problem is Steelcase, even though you may not like it, in the last few years has made up 40% of all ammunition sold in America. Let that sink in. 40% of all ammunition, which means the majority of people who are on a budget, who may have one firearm, who doesn't make a lot of money, that's what they can afford to go shoot at the range. That's what allows them to go and shoot. That's what a lot of us train on, because we don't get that free ammo from the government anymore, like myself. I can't just go out there with my saw and shoot a couple $1,000s in ammo and walk back going, that was fun. I got to pay for my own stuff. Not that, or not just that, but you also got to look at how many people in America, how many companies manufactured 7.62 by 39? How many manufactured 7.62 by 54 rimmed? How many manufactured 9 by 39? Oh wait, none on that last one. 7.62 by 54R. I think there's a couple companies that make specialized hunting rounds, but very little, and they're like $5 a round. Same thing with Tokarev. Same thing with really inexpensive 9mm. You can't get a 100-round box or a 100-round thing of white box Winchester for $20 anymore. This isn't 2005. Things have changed in the last decade and a half. So by this 40% of ammunition being removed from our market, the other 60% is going to increase in price, and demand is going to go way up. And people who have these comm block weapons, even though they're not even made in Russia, they're just chambered in their ammunition, they might be able to get some from Yugoslavia, Romania, things of that nature, or countries of that nature, but it's going to be very limited because the majority of those countries get their stuff from Russia. So this is what's going on. This is the backdoor approach we have going with gun control in America. As usual, any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comment section.
I have a feeling this is foreshadowing.